Hi everyone, how are you? Hope everyone's doing well. Today's video is about Google Search Generative Experience, or in short, Google SGE. So what is Google SGE? So Google SGE is Google's take on OpenAI's ChatGPT. So they announced this at their Google I/O Developer Conference at the end of May, I believe. And since then, they've opened up the beta to their Search Generative Experience to a certain number of users. So today I'm going to share some tips about how you can get access to this beta so you can have a play around by yourself and experience what Google SGE may bring in the future to the search engine landscape, and also talk about a few tips on what to expect when you're conversing with Google's AI, which is powered by Bard. So let's talk about how to get access to this in the first place. So the closed beta at the moment is only available to US residents. So I'm based in Melbourne, Australia. And how I got around to it was I activated used a US VPN. So once you have a US VPN enabled, you just go to this website, labs.withgoogle.com. At the top, it will tell you that you can, try Google's latest experiments in labs. Scroll down about halfway, and you can join the waitlist here. So once you join the waitlist, it took me about 2 weeks to get access to this. But I've heard reports that they are speeding up and increasing the amount of users who can test the beta. So that's how you would get access to these features if you are not based in the US. So once you get access, you will get a dashboard that looks something like this. And to enable the Search Generative Experience, or SGE, you just need to toggle this little panel here and it will enable it. You can also enable code tips and stuff that, AI integration with sheets and stuff like that. I just enable all three of them, just have a play around. Cool. Once you get access to this, how you would know you have access is when you go to google.com, you'll see this call to action, a prompt to try the AI-powered overviews when you search. You will also know that you are in the beta labs mode with this little icon on the top right-hand corner here. So let's do a quick query, do a quick search, and see what it looks like in the SERPs with the generative AI panel integrated into the Google search results. Let's pick something generic. We work with a lot of fashion clients, so I'm going to search for dresses. So that is the AI panel that is currently loading. So the first observations obviously is a little bit slow. It takes a little while to compute, but hey, won't complain. It's in beta at the moment, so probably not at production scale. So it's taking a little while to load. So this is what it looks like. So traditional Google SERPs would look like this. Let's do a quick comparison. So if I search for the same query, dresses, in a non-labs format. So at the top, we've got all these different pills, and we've got the ads, nice and high, and then organic listing starts, still visible, 1, 2, 3, scroll and so forth. Whereas if you look at the SGE experience, it's slightly different. All right, it takes up the entire above the fold panel and takes about 1, 2, 3 scrolls before the organic listing begins. It's quite different to ChatGPT because obviously ChatGPT is not very visual and everything is text-based, whereas the Google SGE experience, it's a little bit more visual, a little bit more friendly to the day-to-day user. So for this query, dresses, it's clearly a shopping-related term. You can see that they've provided some recommendations. They seem to provide this panel or this accordion or this, scrollable accordion here about on-trend styles, classic styles. These tend to differ depending on the query that you search for. And it is no surprise that this is powered by your Google Shopping feed or Google Merchant Center feed. So if you are a website that invests in articles or a publisher, no sweat, there's still an ability to rank above the fold, which is these panel here. So by the looks of things, these aren't generally e-commerce category pages. They tend to be article or publishing related content. So there seems to be 6, sometimes there's 9, sometimes there's more than that. So there's still ability to be quite, to capitalize on this panel here if content marketing is one of your online strategies. So this is a very typical search term. Now let's try to refine our search to something else. Let's go, all right, I'm in the market for maxi dresses. Notice that the color palette changed. So they are running several color palettes, and it seems to be changing every time you conduct a new search. Whether there's any correlations to how they're ranking certain queries or whether the colors mean anything, I'm not too sure. I'm sure more people will be testing this product out from Google, and there'll be some conclusions that have been drawn later in the future. So I've refined my search into maxi dresses. So it's the same style of SGE results that I get, quick write-up about what you just searched. Based on my observations, they are actually taking a couple of sentences from each of these articles here and compiling a short paragraph about the search term or the query that you just searched for. So a lot of people have been complaining about the attribution of where they've taken the content from, and they should give attribution of where they compile this content from. But a lot of people have been complaining about that. Same things as we can see here. The headings are still on-trend styles, on-trend styles, and classic styles, as you can see here. Now you can refine your search by just doing another search, or you can actually click on converse. So let's try that now. When we click on converse, it goes into chat mode. So your traditional 10 blue links, SERP listings will disappear. You go into chat mode and you can ask for a follow-up. So I'm going to use something more conversational. So show me green options instead. Here we go. So it's pretty intuitive. It's just pulling back recommendations and products that are green in color, as you can see here. See, now the headings are slightly different. It just has popular styles. It doesn't have that two panel results that we saw in the previous example up here. So the good thing about Google SGE is that it remembers all your search history. So you can scroll back upwards and look at the results here. Oh no, I don't like this. I'm going to refine my search, and you can compare the different search results within a single search, if you like. So when you refine your search within the chat mode, it gives you the SGE results, but also it will show you the standard Google search results here as well. So it looks like it's showing you the 2 listings, organic listings, or 2.5, and then you can expand and show more if you like. Now I do want to touch on this panel here, where it normally shows you articles from reputable publishers and stuff like that. Now, there's no correlation to these rankings in this panel here to what is ranking organically. So for example, organically, Amazon.com is ranking number 1 for this query green maxi dresses, or for the search term, show me green options instead. Whereas you see here, refinery29.com, which is an article about this brand maxi dress review, is ranking position 1 in this panel. So there's no correlation to ranking well organically, traditionally in SEO, to this portion here. So I think a little bit more research and reverse engineering to find out how to rank in this panel may be super beneficial in the future. Cool, let's try a different search now. So as I mentioned before, the Google SGE experience doesn't trigger for any type, for all queries, right? It's pretty random. Some queries it will trigger, some queries it won't trigger. So let's do another search. Let's do something ambiguous like Jaguar. So Jaguar can be the car brand, Jaguar cars. Jaguar can also be the animal. As you can see here, Google is also getting confused. When it gets confused, it doesn't trigger the generative AI panel by default. So what happens when you don't get a AI search result is you can click generate and it will start to, once again, it will just generate and it will find some random stuff. So in this instance, it's assuming that I'm looking for Jaguar as a car brand, and you can see it's a slightly different type of AI search results, which is no different to the Google Map Pack that we're all used to. So if I were to compare this search result in the AI panel versus the search results down here, it's no different. It's still the same type of rankings, right? Let's look for something different now. So I feel like having bolognese tonight, so I'm going to look up a recipe. So bolognese recipe. So notice that the AI panel doesn't even show at all for this query. So I think for any recipe related searches, it is not triggering the AI panel at all. You can try something else. Pasta recipe. Noodles recipe. Yeah, it doesn't trigger it at all. So if you're in the recipe space, I think you're safe for now. Let's do something more specific. How long to boil pasta for? So when you search for something that requires a step-by-step process, it will generate the SGE panel. And you can see this is very, very different once again to all the different SGE search result panel that we have shown so far. And you expand this, it looks like it shows you a quick write-up down here, and it gives you the information straight up in here. So if you're using dry pasta, you need to cook it for 10 to 12 minutes. Fresh pasta, boil it a minute or two. So very snackable information here. And same thing, I think this panel is quite consistent in all types of SGE results here. So should you be investing in content in the future? Yes, 100%. If you're currently investing in content, don't stop, keep doing it, because it looks like there's still opportunity to rank quite highly above the fold within the SGE experience by the looks of things. Okay. All right, we're 13 minutes in. I think let's keep the video nice and short. Hopefully it was useful for you guys to see how the Google Search Generative Experience would look like, all the different types of results that would come in the future. And next video, we're going to talk about the potential impact to SEO and to e-commerce businesses in general. And we're going to provide some tips on how to prepare for this upcoming change. Thank you. See you soon.